Okay, so last elasticity here, and now we're looking at a completely different side of the demand and supply diagram. We're looking at the supply. So we need to know the definition of price elasticity of supply, or the equation. We need to be able to calculate PES. We need to be able to interpret those figures, and discuss the relevance for a business of those figures. So definition, it's the responsiveness of the quantity supplied, this time not demanded, supplied to a change in the price of a product. So we're looking at, it's like science experiments, and we're changing the price, and we're looking at how much does the quantity supplied changed by. Okay, so again, we're going to get figures that come out as elastic or inelastic, and elastic is where the change in the quantity supplied is sensitive to a change in the price, and inelastic is where the change in the quantity supplied is insensitive to a change in price. So with its elastic, a 10% change in the price causes a greater percentage change in the quantity supplied, so 12%, 15%. And if it's inelastic, a 10% change in the price would cause a smaller percentage change in the quantity supplied, so 7, 8, whatever percent. I'm sure you can think of a number that's smaller than 10. Okay, here's the definition, PES equation for you. Percentage change in the quantity supplied over percentage change in the price. Make sure you get them the right way around. Most common mistake is students inverting them, so putting the price on the top. So remember, money is always the bottom line, put it on the bottom, but make sure that you know that it's PES, it's not PED, it's PES, so it's quantity supplied. Okay, so egg sandwiches again. There's a price change from £1.50 to £1, so that is a reduction in the price. And the quantity supplied changes from 250 units to 200 units. So we get a negative change in the price here, so it's fallen by 50p over the original, which was £1.50, so 0.33 recurring. That should actually be a negative number there. And then we've got a change in the quantity supplied, so it's falling, so negative 50 over 250 equals minus 0.2. So when we put those figures into our equation, we've got minus 0.2 over minus 0.3 reoccurring, and the figure, because it's a negative divided by a negative, it's a positive, it comes out as, so it's 0.6. And little tip here, PES figures should always come out as positive because supply is upward sloping. So, you know, it's logical, you know, when the price is high, suppliers want to supply more. If the price is low, suppliers want to supply less. So if you've got a fall in the price, it's logical to think that suppliers will supply less because there's less opportunity to make profit. If you've got an increase in the price, it's logical to think that suppliers will want to supply more because there's a greater opportunity to make some profit. So it should always come out as positive, but there are examples of where that doesn't always happen. Okay, so we've got 0.6. So what does this actually mean? So if the number is larger than 1, so it starts with 1 point something, 2 point something, 3 point something, it's elastic. If the number is smaller than 1, it is inelastic. So it starts with 0.6, as our figure did here, so that's inelastic. And PES equals to 1 is unitary elasticity. Okay, so here we have some nice diagrams showing what inelastic, relatively inelastic supply looks like. We know it's inelastic because it looks like a capital I, if you just imagine a little line here. And elastic, if we imagine a little line here, it looks like a capital E, so that's elastic. Remember, look at these, just note that they're upward sloping, still upward sloping. And then PES that is equal to 1 would have a 45-degree angle there, and it would go through the origin as well. I think mine's a little bit off the origin there, but oh well. Okay, so what influences whether something is elastic or inelastic? What influences whether the quantity supplied is elastic or inelastic? Well, here are the factors. So availability of stocks of the product. So you're going to be able to supply more quickly if the price changes, price increases, that is, if you've got stocks of the product, or if you're actually able to store the product, so it's not something that's perishable like milk or it's going to go off, really quickly. So you can have big stocks of it, or if it's just basically a good, so it's tangible, you can actually put it in a warehouse. Whereas it's likely to be quite inelastic, the quantity supplied is inelastic if there's a lack of stock, or you're really unable to store the product. So it could be a service. The other factor that can influence PES is your availability of the factors of production, so land, labour, capital, enterprise. If you've got high availability of these factors of production, you can quickly get people to work for you. You've got enough machinery and those types of things to get going, or you've got lots of spare capacity, you can quickly increase the quantity supplied. If you've got low availability of the factors of production, maybe you need some really skilled people to work for you. Maybe you need some really specialist machinery that's going to take a while to get to you if you need to order or increase your output, or you're already working at full capacity, so it's going to be really hard for you to increase the amount that the quantity that you're supplying. It's going to be inelastic. And then lastly, same as with PED, time. In the long run, everything tends to be more elastic. In the short run, it's inelastic. And that's because in the long run, it's easier to change your production decisions as a business. Whereas in the short run, if there's an increase in the price of a product or a decrease of drop in the price of a product, you're going to find it hard to change your output decisions that day. Okay, so define price elasticity of supply, percentage change in the quantity supplied over percentage change in the price. Calculate PES, interpret the figure, so it's either going to come out as elastic or inelastic, and discuss the relevance of PES. So why is it important for businesses? Why do we care about this? Well, in general, firms want to make their supply as elastic as possible because they are hoping that they can cash in on a rise in prices by selling more of their product. To sell more of your product, you got to supply more of your product. Okay, so if the price goes up, you want to sell more of that product. But if the price falls, you want to switch to making something that's maybe a little bit more profitable for you. So you want to move out of the production of that product. So in general, you want to be as elastic as possible. Okay, so that's the relevance of PES there.